Today's fairy tale has one of the most amazing protagonists ever, a girl who is not conventionally beautiful, rides a goat, beats people up with a spoon, is really loud, and saves her sister and gets her happy ending. That's a head right there. This is Tatterhood, a Norwegian tale. A king and queen can't have kids, and the queen is really sad about it, but eventually adopts a daughter. Well, one day that daughter is playing with this ragged little beggar girl, and she goes up and yells at her daughter like, "You are above playing with this ragged beggar girl." The beggar girl's like, "Well, if you only knew how powerful my mom was, you wouldn't be saying that." And the queen's like, "Wait, what?" Girl's like, "I know you want to get pregnant. My mom can help you." And she's like, "All right, take me to your mom." So she takes her to the mom, and the mom's like, "I'm not going to help you." So the girl goes to the queen, and she's like, "Hey, get her drunk and she'll help you." So the queen gives the woman as much wine and meat as she wants, and eventually the woman tells her how she can get pregnant. She says, "Wash yourself in 2 pails of water before going to bed, then dump the water under your bed. In the morning, there's going to be 2 flowers growing there, one fair and one rare. Eat the fair flower and you'll get pregnant, but don't eat the other flower." Queen follows her advice, and then she gets the 2 flowers. One's pretty, one is foul and black and smells funny. She eats the pretty one, but then she's so hungry, she really wants to eat the other one, so she eats both of them. Like, it's not a big deal. Well, then the queen gives birth to a girl who comes out with a wooden spoon in her hand, riding on a goat. She's ugly and loud the second she comes out, and is just like, "Mama!" The queen says, "If I'm your mom, God send me grace to mend my ways." And she goes, "Don't worry, you're gonna give birth to another girl and she'll be pretty and soft and stuff." And so she does. She gives birth to her sister, who is demure and sweet and kind. They call the older girl Tatterhood because she always wears just ragged clothing over her unkept hair because she just don't care. And the sisters super love each other. On Christmas Eve, when the girls are half grown, which means probably teenagers, there's a ruckus. Tatterhood's like, "What's that?" And the queen's like, "Oh, it's these trolls and witches that come attack the palace every 7 years. Just stay inside, you'll be fine." But Tatterhood, who is headstrong, says, "Nah, I'm gonna go fight them." So she goes out to fight, and her fair sister peeks out, worried about her, and as soon as she peeks out, boom, her head gets chopped off. They don't say if it's a witch or a troll that cut it off, but it is a witch who then puts a calf's head in her place. So she runs back inside with a baby cow head now, mooing and crawling on all 4s. Tatterhood comes back inside, sees what has happened to her sister, and she's like, "Y'all, you didn't watch her? Oh my god. Don't worry, I will take care of this mess." Tatterhood does not need a crew or anything. She just gets a boat, takes her sister, and sails off for the land of the trolls, because the trolls took her head. Well, and witches. It's trolls and witches. She goes up to the troll witch castle and sees her sister's head hanging there like a trophy in a frame. She jumps up on her goat, grabs the head, and takes off. The witches chase after her, and it says they swarm around her as thick as a swarm of bees or ants, but she beats them all with that wooden spoon and with her goat butting them with its horn. She gets back to her sister, takes off the calf head, puts her sister's own head back on again, and they keep sailing, this time to a new land. In this new land is a king who's a widower, and he has one son, and he falls in love with the fair sister at first sight. He's like, "I want to marry her." And Tatterhood's like, "No, you can't marry my sister until you let me marry your son." The king doesn't want that, and the son doesn't want that. He calls her an ugly hussy. But the king apparently wants the other sister so bad, he pressures his son into saying yes, and he grudgingly does. They're all gonna get married on the same day, and Tatterhood does not dress up. She's like, "I'm gonna wear what I normally wear." She's still carrying her spoon, still on her goat. The other sister and the king are riding in front of them looking beautiful, and it says the prince riding next to Tatterhood on her goat looks like he's going to his funeral. So Tatterhood's like, "Hey, why aren't you talking to me?" And he's like, "I don't know what to talk about." She's like, "You want to ask why I ride a goat?" He's like, "Sure, why do you ride that ugly goat?" And she goes, "Oh, it's not. It's the most handsome horse in the world." And in that instant, the goat transforms into the most beautiful horse in the world. They keep riding, the prince is speechless, and then eventually she's like, "Well, you're still not talking. You want to ask why I carry this wooden spoon?" He's like, "Why do you have this spoon?" And she goes, "Oh, it's not a spoon. It's the most beautiful fan a girl ever carried." And then it turns into this beautiful silver fan. They keep riding, and eventually she's like, "Do you want to ask why I wear this ugly gray hood on my head?" And he goes, "Why do you wear the ugly gray hood on your head?" "Is it an ugly hood? Why, it's the brightest crown that a bride ever wore." And of course, it changes into a bright crown. Finally, she asks, "You gonna ask why my face is so ugly and gray?" And he's like, "Yes, why is your face so ugly and gray?" She goes, "Oh, I'm ugly? I thought I'm 10 times more beautiful than my sister." And then at that moment, the prince looks at her, and she is suddenly the most beautiful woman he's ever seen in the world. So they drank the bridal cup both deep and long, and after both prince and king set out with their brides to the princess's palace, there they had another bridal feast and drank once more both deep and long. It ends with, "Now quickly run to the king's palace. There will still be a drop of bridal ale left for you." The story has many similarities with Katie Crackernuts, the story that I told the other day, except it's just wilder and more brash and in your face. And it does leave you to wonder, is it magic at the end that is suddenly making our girl and all the things about her beautiful to the prince? Or is it just getting to know her and talking to her that he comes to see her in a new light? Either way, she's a great character who takes care of her sister, knows what she wants, and isn't afraid of anything because she knows her worth. As always, check out my book, Dust Spells, a reimagining of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.